and seen. All right, so we are going to be, or so far I should say, I've given you a function. And I've said either, so it's been like this. I've given you a function. And then I've said, full screen this thing, full screen, full screen, full screen. There it is. There we go. Now I'm full screen. Okay? So I've given you a function. And then I've said, okay, we could either stop 1, we could just get the list of all possible zeros. Okay? Stop 2, we could factor that right there. Or, whoa, back on full screen. Or we could solve it in stop number 3. Okay? All right? Today, you're taking the bus. Remember I said we called that like the bus stop? Okay? So wherever stop you got off on. Today, we're at stop 3, which let's say was the mall. We did all of our shopping. Now we got to go back home. So we have to get on the bus at stop 3 and ride it back home. So we're going to take the bus route backwards. Okay? Today what's going to happen is I'm going to give you the zeros of the function. And I want you to work backwards to get me the polynomial of the function. Okay? So, given the fact that we have the zeros here, what does that mean? That means what? This one is x plus 1 is a factor. This one is x minus 2 is a factor. And this one is x minus 4. So we have all of those factors. So the bus just stopped at stop number 2, the list of factors, right? Well, when we were looking at that, what are we doing with those factors right in here? What are we doing with those? We're multiplying, right? No, you were thinking going back down. Okay, you're not going back to the mall, you're going home. So we want to go up. So we went to factors, now we're going to multiply them. And when we multiply them, that gives us our polynomial. So step number 1 is you're going to find your factors. We did that. Step 2 is you're going to multiply your factors. Okay. So f of x here then is going to be, my function is going to equal the quantity x plus 1 times the quantity x minus 2 times the quantity x minus 4. Okay? How many can I multiply at one time? 2. Let's take the last 2. Okay? So x times x and x times negative 4. Negative 2 times x and negative 2 times negative 4. So f of x here, then, can be rewritten as x plus 1 times x squared minus 6x plus 8. Right? And now I've got to do the multiplication for the third time, or the second time. The third factor, multiply it. So we take those. So we get x cubed minus 6x squared plus 8x. And we get x squared minus 6x plus 8. I add those together, and I get f of x here equals x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8. And I've made it home with all of my belongings. Questions on that? Good? All right. What about this one? Okay. So here's my zeros, right? So out of this one comes what? X minus 4. Out of this one comes x minus 1 plus the square root of 5, right? One of them. What else comes out of that one? X minus 1 minus the square root of 5. Okay? We always start out x minus, and then we change it if it's a negative. Like for instance back here, we changed this first one because it was negative 1 there. We changed that negative 1 to an x plus 1 because this really was x minus negative 1. That's why we wrote it as x plus 1. Okay? So it's minus all the time until that changes. Okay? So, now what do we do with those? Multiply them together. So f of x is going to be x minus 4, x minus 1 plus the square root of 5, and x minus 1 minus the square root of 5. Okay, let's take the last two again. So the x has to go in to all three parts now. Okay, so then I get x squared minus x minus x times the square root of 5, correct? Okay. Then I have to take the negative 1 and put it into all three. Minus x plus 1 plus the square root of 5. Correct? Then I have to take the square root of 5. Oops, I wanted to go the other way. I'll go this way, then you can see it a little bit better. Okay? Take the square root of 5 and put it in there. So then I get plus x times the square root of 5 minus the square root of 5, and then I get minus 5 there, because positive square root of 5 times negative square root of 5 gets me negative square root of 25, which is minus 5. Okay? So now I got to add all those together. So I get x squared in this column. Second column I get minus 2x. Third column I get, cancels out, we get 0, right? Fourth column I get minus 4, last column I get 0. Cancels each other out again. Okay? So f of x here now is equal to x minus 4 times x squared minus 2x minus 4. Again, now we're going to go through. Multiply it by x. That gives me x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x. Multiply by negative 4. That gives me negative 4x squared plus 8x plus 16. So f of x here is equal to x cubed minus 6x squared plus 4x plus 16.
There are a few times that the square roots don't cancel out.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Ready to try one on your own? Oh, what? Same one. Why is it doubled? Huh. Interesting. Oh, wait a second. That wasn't supposed to be. That's not supposed to be that way. So we'll just make one up here. Let's go with 3 and plus or minus 2i. Okay, go for it. And we're back. All right, so this gives me a factor of x minus 3. This gives me a factor of x minus 2i and a factor of x plus 2i. Okay? So f of x here is x minus 3 times x minus 2i times x plus 2i. There. Now let's go this one and that one gets me x squared plus 2xi. This one and this one gets me minus 2xi and then minus 4i squared. But what do I know about I squared? I squared is negative 1. So really minus 4i squared is plus 4. Okay. And then these two cancel each other out. So that leaves me with f of x here equaling x minus 3 times x squared plus 4. That gives me x cubed plus 4x minus 3x squared minus 12. Right? So f of x here is equal to x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 12. One thing that I would like to remind you of, way back up here, imaginary zeros or roots or whatever you want to call them come in pairs. Okay? They come in pairs. So if it's not, if I just said, well, one of the zeros is 6i, another zero then would be negative 6i, because they have to come in pairs. With me? Okay? So I tweaked the homework a little bit, and then I tweaked it again after the first class started doing it, because some of them didn't work out. So this is what we finally decided on today. Okay? 20 through 24 all, and number 28. Okay? So I think it's 6. Yep, and 6.